Hi, Sachin.
Hello, Sayed. Amit here. Good morning.
Amit, good morning, Amit. So, Amit, would like to know if this is the first class or like because this is my first class,
hmm
joined. So,
hmm
would like to know if there have been like classes already conducted. So
No, this is the first one only.
this is the first one. Okay, super. Thanks.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, hello, Jaswant.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, it's fine. Jaswant. Yeah, please tell me.
No, nothing. Just I'm busy.
Okay. Good to know that. Okay, so I'll start sharing my screen. Do you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Amit.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. So it's basically the content that we would be going throughout the course for SD-WAN. Okay, I'll share this file with everyone. Okay, so meanwhile, what you can do, everyone, I would need your help to please share your, as you prefer, like mobile number or email address. Okay, I'll create one WhatsApp group where we can communicate and basically where I can exchange the documents, the notes, the lab guides, right? And if you want, you can share your email address as well. I can share on email as well. Okay, just share on chat. Okay, so just take 2-3 minutes on in this, then I'll proceed with the topic, right? For beginning, I would say the start of the SD-WAN.
So, Amit, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Only mobile number is enough, or should I send my email address?
As you prefer.
Okay, sure.
So we have doubts portal on networkings, right? Ask networking. So there you can post your queries, right? So that is also the key main, the first preferred way is to ask on the networkings portal, right? Second, we have WhatsApp group in case you are stuck in lab or somewhere, right? I would try to reply on best effort basis. We have support team from networkings. They are also there to support in case you have any issue. Okay. Okay, let's start. So maybe it could be like a recap for the people who joined demo session last time, right? So I would take 5-10 minutes to recap what we discussed in the last demo session. So just for everybody's information who is joining this session today first time. So we had demo session last weekend for 1 hour. That was on the basic things. What is SD-WAN? Why we need SD-WAN? So we would anyway cover those things again. Okay. So SD-WAN is, as everybody would be knowing about, software-defined wide area network. Right. So 1 minute. Okay. So SD-WAN is software-defined wide area network. So we are basically integrating the software-defined approach across the wide area network. So in very simple language, if we have, let's say, our ISP, let's say, or MPLS VPN network, right? There are the edge routers, which are managed by carriers let's say Airtel, Tata, right? Then we have, these are the circles I'm drawing. These are the routers. Let's say R1 in Delhi. They have, let's say, MPLS link to Delhi Airtel PE router. It may be Delhi Airtel provider edge router, right? Similarly, we may have another router in, let's say, New York, and there would again be link to, it may be to Airtel or any other provider, Airtel PE in New York, right? So this is how MPLS communication, MPLS VPN helps two sites to communicate. So there would be users who would be sitting behind New York and in Delhi office. So this is how their flow, when there is a user who is having PC in New York, they would connect to router. From there, it would go to the PE router. From there, it would follow the carrier backbone to go to Delhi site, right? So this approach, which we are looking at now, it's a traditional approach for the flow of traffic, for flow of the user packets, right? Now, this we are only talking about two sites, Delhi and New York. So there are organizations where there are 300 plus sites, 400 sites, right? So how to manage those 300 plus routers? So it is cumbersome in traditional routing to manage these 300 routers. If you want to configure some command, let's say for security purpose, Cisco reported something, there are some bugs or vulnerabilities, right? Cisco said you need to add one command on all your routers, all 300 plus routers. How would you do that? It's quite cumbersome in traditional routing to send one command, but using software defined approach of SD-WAN, it is quite easy. We can simply make change to a one set of configuration line that would replicate across all 300 routers. This is one of the advantage we have with software defined wide area network. Okay. And of course, limitation. I told you that we cannot really push bulk configuration onto multiple devices in simple manner. Of course, as I told you last time, there are scripts, let's say Python or Ansible, right? There are scripts that we can use, but for that, people need to be aware about the scripting itself. How about the life cycle? Let's suppose even if you have people who know Python and Ansible, they are managing your network well, right? This is one of the aspect, right? One of the thing which is covered in SD-WAN, we can cover in traditional networking as well. But how about the manpower? In case the people that you have resources, they know scripting, but when they leave the organization, then what will happen? You need to find out someone who is expert into network as well as scripting both, right? So it's covered using SD-WAN. There is well-defined GUI portal. There are certain fields you need to input where you would input the command for IP address, routing protocol, etc. Let's say IP address here, routing protocol here, X thing here, Y thing here. So what this GUI portal would do, it would just create one set of configuration line, which can be pushed onto the whole network. So this is the ease of doing the bulk changes with SD-WAN, right? So this is one of the advantage that I was explaining, right? So software defined approach. So what we are doing, we have integrated, or the whosoever invented this thing like Viptela or Cisco, whosoever they are developing this, what they did, they chose to use the software based approach across the wide area network. So the scope of SD-WAN, it starts right here on the WAN router. It goes till the other side WAN router. Anything in between, okay, it is controlled via SD-WAN. Anything behind this WAN router, be it core switch, access switches, user, nothing. SD-WAN cannot do anything here. Okay, everyone, any question so far?
No.
Okay, good. One moment. So, sorry. Okay. So SD-WAN is software defined approach. We would be integrating across the wide area network for the WAN side of things. For example, as I told you, bulk configuration changes. We can automate this remotely, right? Second, we can bulk iOS upload or upgrade. It can be done remotely. Instead of for your whole network, if you want to, let's say, push the iOS to multiple devices, or if you want to upgrade at a scheduled time, that can be done. Okay. Third, we have cost saving, because if you see in legacy networking, what happens if you have a router in your network, or if you have a network of, let's say, 4 routers, and if you are running routing protocols. So if these are our 4 routers, we have 4 routers, we are running OSPF, EdgeRP, right? So now each and every device needs to keep check synchronization on the OSPF database, right? This example, we are simply talking about 4 routers, right? If I say these are my 1000 routers and I am running, let's say, any protocol, BGP, OSPF, EdgeRP, right? So now each and every device need to look at the whole OSPF database, right? If we are running OSPF, or if we are running BGP, each and every device need to keep a check on the BGP routes, right? What if, can you imagine for these 1000 routers, if we dedicate a one router, one device, which would simply be exchanging OSPF with other all sites. This device would receive the route information from router 1 and it would exchange with router 2. Similarly, router 3. These devices now, they need not communicate to each other for routing protocols. Now, this router 1, it needs not handle or know to communicate with the other 1000 routers to create OSPF adjacency, neighbors, EIGRP, BGP routes handling, nothing. It simply communicates with one device that is even not using OSPF, that is using a simple protocol, which is called as OMP in SD-WAN. Okay, so we are using OMP in SD-WAN, which handles all sort of routing information. So no need of OSPF, adjacency, neighbor, Airtel, keep alive, update, hello, many things, right? So now we are offloading. How we are saving cost here? In terms of offloading the CPU. Now we need earlier, let's say if we needed this router 1 with, let's say, X memory for to handle all these routing protocols or other tasks, right? Now in terms of SD-WAN, it needs, say, roughly X by 10. So we have saved the CPU cost, because as network grows, we need higher end routers to handle large routing table, etc. Right? So in this case of SD-WAN, we are saving the cost by using one dedicated device to handle routing or control plane. Okay. Any question on this?
Can you come again with that?
Sorry, one more time.
Can you come again with that?
Okay. So we will talk about this OMP in very much detail later. This is just high level. This is just, you can say, we're just talking about very brief. What is SD-WAN? Why we need SD-WAN? So far, I am talking about the challenges that we have in traditional networking, which SD-WAN can counter. Okay. So as number of router grows, so grows the routing table, right? When we say routing table, we have in OSPF LSAs as well, right? So no need of handling large number of LSAs, right? Simply router 1 would share its subnets via OMP to one dedicated device. This is a dedicated device which only takes care of routing. It receives route from one router, it cascades to other sites. That's it. This is the only role of this device. So we have now abstracted the control plane thing. Whatever end device was taking care of the control plane information, that is now attributed to a different device. This is where the concept of SDN kicks in. So SDN is software defined networking. The core concept of SDN is to separate control plane, data plane, and management plane. I would explain, we will talk about in detail what are these three planes, right? For now, you can simply think of, when I say control plane, you can simply think of routing protocol, be it OSPF, BGP, EHRP. Okay, so what SDN says, in your network, we can achieve greater things if we can separate these three planes from end device. Because if you see one router, it handles all these things. Control plane, how it handles control plane? Routing protocols. It manages routing protocols by itself with other all devices, right? Then data plane. What is data plane? Actual forwarding of packets. Actual forwarding of packets looking at routing table or FIB. Looking at FIB, forwarding information base, which anyway would be derived from routing table, right? Management plane, configuration, SSH to the device, right? iOS upgrades, etc. So all these things are unified. If you have problem with anything, if you have problem with SSH, right? If you cannot log into the device, right? You don't have any other option either to console to the device or send engineer onto the device, right? To resolve this SSH problem. If you have problem with control plane, if your control plane is messed up, your routing is messed up and CPU goes high, everything is lost. You won't be able log into the device, right? Management plane is also impacted. If your control plane is impacted, right? So in terms of SD-WAN, since we are separating the control plane onto another device, so you even do not have control plane on your device, right? In case CPU going high due to protocols, right? In legacy networking, we lose access to the device because management plane is unified. It is also impacted. CPU goes high, management plane cannot function. So in terms of SD-WAN, this control plane functionality, anyway, it is attributed to a dedicated separate device. Clear now?
Yes, good.
Okay, good. So this is one of the another advantage that we have. I know it is messed up. Let me clean it up a bit. So the core concept, interview question is the what is SD-WAN? Why we need SD-WAN? So basically SD-WAN, it stems from SDN, software defined networking. So in SD-WAN, the principle used is to separate control, data, and management plane. You see n number of definitions on Google, on various documents, videos, right? But this is the conclusion. SD-WAN, it is derived from SDN to separate control plane, data plane, and management plane. In SD-WAN, we have dedicated component for control plane, which is called as vSmart. Dedicated component for management plane, it is called as vManage. Okay, it is called as vSmart. It is called as vManage. And of course, data plane, is the router. So router would take part in the actual forwarding of packets. Whenever there is data coming in for users, coming from servers, going to servers to different destinations, internet, it would all be handled by a router. Are we good so far?
The router is vEdge, right?
So, yeah, good question. So router, when I say, okay, so in SD-WAN terminology, the end device peer to router, it is called as xEdge. X, where X is variable. Okay. So xEdge is equal to vEdge when router, or you can say when hardware is Viptela. Just like we have Cisco router, there is a device from company Viptela which is called as vEdge. It is equivalent to router, but it is not router. Because vEdge can only function in SD-WAN environment. It cannot function in the legacy environment. Okay. Now, this is, sorry, vEdge. X is replaced by V. Okay. Now, we have cEdge when hardware is Cisco router. Okay. In SD-WAN environment, there is one command on Cisco router. In Cisco router, iOS XE, very important. All Cisco routers with iOS XE image, iOS XE iOS version can only function as SD-WAN device. Any router with iOS only, like legacy routers, right? They cannot function as SD-WAN device. Okay. So when hardware is Cisco router and it is used as the SD-WAN device, it is called as cEdge. And Cisco device, you can say same device. If I say cEdge Cisco ISR 1000, this is the model. If I have a Cisco ISR 1000 box and it may or may not be used as the SD-WAN device, there is one command that enables this ISR 1K to act as SD-WAN device or similar to vEdge. If I disable that command, that would become a traditional router and different from vEdge. Make sense, everyone?
So it depends upon enabling, disabling to
Yes,
make this as a Cisco and
absolutely.
Viptela.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So this is the advantage we have with Cisco, because when you buy vEdge, Viptela hardware, it is pure SD-WAN. You cannot use it as simple router. Okay. So just another related thing. This Viptela story. Viptela was the initial company who invented this SD-WAN. At that point of time, when Viptela invented this, maybe Cisco could have been doing similar things or different things in terms of SD-WAN, but that was not marketed. It was not shared with the customers, right? So you can say in layman language, Cisco did not have SD-WAN at that point of time. It was only Viptela who was having SD-WAN. Same case with other vendors. When Versa invented SD-WAN, Juniper did not have SD-WAN. What they did, Cisco overtook Viptela company and named as, they have now named as Cisco SD-WAN. Now most of the places you won't see the name Viptela SD-WAN. You would see Cisco SD-WAN. Okay. Similarly, for Juniper, they overtook Versa, right? Now there are many other flavors of SD-WAN like Meraki, Nokia Nuez, then Palo Alto, they also have SD-WAN. Fortinet, they also have SD-WAN, right? Velo Cloud, Silver Peak. For all of them, the concept is same. This one. To separate the control plane, data plane, and management plane. Okay. For all of them, the concept is same. It's just that they may have different way of doing this. And just for your information, so Cisco only is so far at this point of time, Cisco is the only vendor who can support the complex topologies, large networks for SD-WAN. Because if you have a network of, let's say, 2000 devices, existing network, and you want to transform to, let's say, SD-WAN, the basic thing is it is high probability that for a network of 2000 devices, it is high probability that existing devices would be Cisco routers only, right? Most of the devices. That is one of the reason. Second is the set of features, things which are available. So most of the large complex topologies, they can be supported with Cisco SD-WAN. Okay. So initially, Viptela SD-WAN, they had their own hardware, vEdge. There are different models, just like we have Cisco, smaller side model, smaller and medium sized and large size, right? So to handle large network, for smaller network similarly. So we will see how these look like, because since it has been now around 6-7 years, SD-WAN is in place, right? So initially only vEdge was available. Cisco, they did not have this SD-WAN available on their router. So they supported vEdges only. So it was Cisco TAC who was supporting vEdges in terms of any support, any issues, upgradation, etc., anything. It was Cisco TAC only who was supporting vEdges. Now for 6-7 years, vEdges had been there, right? Now what Cisco is doing, Cisco has asked all the users to upgrade their vEdges to cEdges, because vEdges would be end of sale, end of support in near future. Okay, end of sale and end of support. This was their strategy for Cisco to first at least manage the things as is with Viptela hardware. And it was, I think, their strategy since beginning that later they would be moving all their things to Cisco routers. Okay, so cEdge, when I say cEdge, what cEdge is? It is a mix of vEdge and traditional router. So few things you would see inherited from vEdge and few things carried over from the traditional router. So this is cEdge.
Hi. So this is what. I believe some vendors is still using Viptela technology. Is it that right? Or
I'm so sorry. Is this Fawad, right?
yes, that's me.
You are breaking up. Can you repeat, please?
My question. So I believe I heard like Viptela. Some vendors are still using Viptela technologies. I'm not sure is that true or not. Like Extreme and others like Juniper as well. So did they sell their? I mean, I'm not sure. Just want to confirm.
Yeah, one moment. Okay, so you were saying that few vendors like Extreme and Juniper or Versa, they are still using Viptela. But what I would say, as I said, right, the concept is same, to separate control plane, data plane, and management plane. Even they might have been using the components of Viptela, but uh, I might not be in the good position to say yes or no. They may or may not be using, right? But even if they are using, you won't see name like Viptela there, right? In background, all these people, all these vendors, somehow they are using similar things. It's just different way of implementation, like Cisco, Juniper, Cisco, Juniper, Alcatel. Listen, in case everyone, anyone, if you have worked on these three vendors, they all support routing. They all support whatever Cisco router supports, but it's just different way of implementation, right? On Cisco, you would have different command to input IP address, to input routing protocols. Juniper would have different. Alcatel, they have different. So it's same thing. All these vendors, they support similar thing, but different way of doing. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. So this was about vEdge and CH. So mostly you would see myself using term XH, because XH, it points to vEdge or CH. And so far we talked about physical thing, right? Physical hardware, be it vEdge or be it CH, right? Let me clean it up a bit here. So vEdges, they can be physical or virtual. Clear, everyone? Or do you want me to explain this?
Yeah, please.
So physical meaning it can be a physical hardware, just like a Cisco router. Virtual meaning we can have a virtual machine, VM, and on the top of that VM, we can run vEdge image. So basically we can run vEdge functionality on a virtual machine. You need not go necessarily buy a vEdge physical hardware from Viptela or from Cisco. You can run a virtual machine on any server wherever possible. On top of that, you can install vEdge image and it would function as the vEdge device. Okay, same case for CHs. Can we run this Cisco router on virtual machine in traditional networking?
No.
But I would say yes, because you see in GNS, EVNG, we are simply running CH or Cisco router virtually, right? We create a virtual machine. So same case, vEdges are also, yes. So same case for vEdges, just like as C-Edge is Cisco router. vEdges can also be supported in the lab, right? Virtually. So we run this vEdge or C-Edge, let's say Cisco router in lab on GNS and EVNG, but we can use it even for the production environment, even for the actual uses. Okay. But again, there would be some limitation in terms of scalability, but yes, we can use it. Okay. Now we were talking about the challenges with legacy networking, bulk configuration changes. They cannot be done efficiently, bulk iOS upgrades. We have cost saving, right? In terms of CPU, or we can virtually use these devices, right? Fourth, we have most important security. How we don't have security in the traditional networking and how we have additional in SD-WAN, right? So in traditional networking, if we have, let's say, routers connected, if they are using MPLS link or let's say internet link, if they are using internet link, can we have security over internet link? If we have routers connected via internet,
No, it should be firewall.
how we provide them security? How we give them
Firewall.
security? Firewall, right?
Sure.
What else?
IPsec tunnels.
IPsec, GRE.
IPsec.
GR. Anything else? Okay. So what if I am, let's say, a ROG user. I am connected to internet. I know your IPsec parameters, whatever IPsec parameters that you are using in your network. What if I get hold of those things? Can I configure a tunnel from this ROG device to your network? To other all sites? Or let's say any other?
What is rogue?
Maybe any router, which is not legitimate. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I say these are the routers for, let's say, any organization, X organization.
Okay.
This ROG device, it's some hacker, right? He's connected to internet. If he knows the IPsec parameters, can he form tunnel towards second device, or it can harm your other devices, right?
Yes.
So this problem is taken care in SD-WAN using certificates that anybody who is not having the legitimate right certificate, that device won't be able to connect to any other device. They can ping, but they won't be able to go beyond ping. If they want to interact with any other device, any other site, they won't be able to do until and unless they have valid certificate. Because in SD-WAN, each and every device would communicate with other devices only when they have valid certificate from a valid authorization entity. Let's say, as we have various certificate authorities, right? Can someone tell me any random names? Symantec? DigiCert? Yeah. So such certificate authorities, only when I have valid certificate, then only I can interact with the other devices in the network. If I don't have certificate, I won't be able to do anything more than ping. Okay, we have certificate, we have IPsec encryption, plus we have third level of security, which is serial number whitelisting. Until and unless the serial number of the device is whitelisted across the SD-WAN controller, whichever device whose serial number is not whitelisted, that device cannot communicate with any other device. So this is additional requirement. So we have 3 layers of security. In traditional networking, we only have IPsec. Here we have certificate. On the top of IPsec, we have certificate. This is additional things. So we have certificate based security, IPsec based security, and serial number whitelisting. So this is how SD-WAN devices or SD-WAN infrastructure is secure. Security thing, right? Do we have these things with traditional networking? No. There is no way to whitelist based on the serial number. This is where we have manual control, right? In SD-WAN, whosoever serial number is known, that device is whitelisted only. That device is allowed to connect into the network. Okay. Now, fifth, application recognition. It is also called as DPI in SD-WAN, Deep Packet Inspection. Okay. So what does it mean? Whenever we need traffic engineering in, let's say, legacy networking or in SD-WAN, right? So in legacy networking, whenever you want to write any policy, any condition where you write a route map, I think everybody, you might have seen route map, right? If you configure a route map test, format 100, if you are, say, matching certain traffic, what all things we can match inside a route map? Can someone tell me, please? What all things we can match?
Source IP address, destination
Yes.
IP address.
Source IP, destination IP. Maybe port number as well, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? In SD-WAN, we can say match YouTube, match Facebook. We can match the traffic based on the application. So Cisco SD-WAN, it has inbuilt intelligence to identify the traffic type. If this traffic is for ping, if this traffic is HTTPS, or if it is specifically for YouTube, Facebook, there are more than 2000 plus applications which SD-WAN can simply recognize by looking at the traffic. Okay. So whenever you want to match your traffic now, you need not say these things. Simply say match YouTube and take action whatever you want. This is called as application recognition and in short DPI, Deep Packet Inspection. Okay, so there are many other, we will continue talking about this in next session. What are the other limitations and how it is covered in SD-WAN, right? So basically, to manage all these things, limitation with traditional networking, we needed a software defined approach because hardware based approach is very much fixed. Whatever is there, you can only use those things, right? Just like as I take the example of this here, match IP address. That was very much fixed approach. You can match source or destination IP. But this 2000 plus applications at this point of time, after few years, you may see 10,000 applications, right? So software based approach is bit dynamic, that as new softwares being developed, so new things would be added over, right? Ultimately, the purpose is cost saving and security. These are the final goals, right? With SD-WAN, on this SD-WAN controller, we have a good full-fledged dashboard which shows our total number of devices, how many devices are up, what are the devices which are having critical alarms, top talkers. You would simply log in onto the vManage dashboard. that would give you straightforward, that would take you to the page which is already having top talkers, right? You need not go anywhere. You can see alarms, you can see logs, you can see how many users are logged into what device, what changes they are doing, right? What is the statistics by clicking on each and every device, we can see statistics for each and every device. This dashboard, it shows overall network view, but we can look at each and every device perspective. From this vManage, we can push configuration to any device, right? So there are so many changes. Almost everything, whatever we do, if you want to log into a device, you want to make any change, you want to run any command, simply sitting at vManage using GUI prompt, GUI, you can run the commands as if you were running at CLI prompt on the router. You need not log in each and every time to the device. This SD-WAN controller, it would help us to run the command remotely. We are simply sitting on vManage. We are simply clicking and it would give us the output of show IP route. Just like we write the command on the device, show IP route, we can simply select. There is drop down from where it will show the all possible command options. We simply need to select show IP route. On vManage prompt, it would give us similar output on vManage prompt. Okay, we can create different users with different role access, right? Let's say user access, administrator access. We can create different users from this vManage prompt, right? We can find out logs, who made what changes, right? We can even troubleshoot, speed test, packet capture, everything can be done from vManage. Okay, so we will talk about it in detail. So a bit about the course content. It is SD-WAN fundamentals, what we are talking about, and there would be few more things. How to deploy, how we can install all the components of SD-WAN, configuring, zero touch provisioning. We will talk about it because what happens in the existing environment in legacy networking, if you have a router which you want to provision, which you want to configure it for first time, you need on-site assistance, right? Once router is delivered onto the site, we need someone who should go to the site, configure the basic or skinny configuration, right? To make the device reachable. Using this thing, zero touch provisioning, we don't need anyone on site. We just need someone who can simply plug the internet link DSL line onto the router. This router would automatically contact the controller, SD-WAN controller, and it would fetch the configuration. And in few minutes, this device would be live in the network. Okay. This zero touch provisioning is basically to save the cost and time of sending someone onto the site and doing the configuration, right? Policies, right? We will talk about it. This is basically how we can manage our network for a set of, let's say, 1000 sites in a network. If we want 400 sites to be part of Asia group, other 100 sites to be part of, let's say, Europe group. So sort of those things we can achieve using policies. Then we have how we operate SD-WAN devices. Like as I told you, we can run the commands remotely. We need not log in on CLI. We can manage the software, iOS upgrades, right? Then troubleshooting, packet capture, speed test, logs, everything. We can do it from one prompt only. So two things here now, basics and advanced. We would be covering both. As part of basics, these are the topics which are covered: fundamentals, installation, just a brief, let's say detailed thing of these things. So status of vSmart, templates, how routing is handled, how we can set up DHCP server, TACACs, upgrades, right? Policy, dual transport. In SD-WAN, WAN link is named as transport. Wherever you see keyword transport, that means the WAN links. Okay. Access list, firewall, traffic engineering, right? Application aware routing, the thing which I just told you, that we can send the traffic based on the, we can match based on the application name, right? QoS, quality of service, netting, right? Multi-tenancy. So these are the things that we would be talking about down the line, but there may be other things as well. And in case you have anything, feel free to share. We can talk about it. If you have something in your environment, maybe used in some different way, right? We can definitely take up. Okay, so I'm done for today. If you have anything, feel free to ask. Any input, any comment, query,
Yeah,
doubt?
good morning, Amit, and this is quite informative session. So I just
Good.
want to one question over here. If we have multiple VS device and let's suppose new version has been come.
Mhm.
So individually, one by one, we need to go and upgrade them, or from centralized, we can push the upgrade at the same time in a schedule activity
Yes, we can push remotely on multiple devices.
at the same time.
Yes.
So this is pertaining to Cisco Viptela only, or every SD-WAN this feature is there.
So it would be difficult for me to comment on the other flavors because I don't have that much expertise on other flavors. For Cisco Viptela, I can confirm you, yes.
Cisco Viptela, multiple let's suppose we have 100 or 200 devices, and which
Yes.
are pertaining to different enterprise also.
Different enterprise, you mean different sites, right?
No, different enterprise, different customer. Let's suppose Honda is one of the customers. Second one is the Mitsubishi and one other customer. So
Okay.
in
So
single enterprise
yeah,
only
I
we can
think,
do at the same time, or
sorry,
based on the
I could not capture this thing, right? So every SD-WAN controller, it is pertaining to different customer. You don't have one controller for different
okay.
customers
In
or all
Viptela,
customers.
we don't have one controller for all of the customer.
Right,
Every
right.
customer we
This
have the
is
different controller.
where
Because
security
in
also comes in.
Newark we have the functioning. So from the single
Okay.
controller, we are catering all the enterprise at the same
Okay.
time.
Okay. So this is, we have been as this in Cisco SD-WAN as well. That is multi-tenancy.
Okay.
But multi-tenancy is just a way to view different customers' network from a single prompt. To manage each and every client, you need to go to